I'm right here. I'm right here.
Okay, cool. Okay.
I heard everything about as far as the make sure the privacy is checked to public.
Gotcha. Okay.
Let's see. Oh,
Gotcha. Okay. You said make sure the privacy is in the Czech Republic?
oh no, yeah. You said whenever we share it, make sure that the privacy is changed. That way
Yeah.
they can see
Okay.
it.
All right, cool. Okay. All right, let me make sure because I know this thing gives me some trouble. Okay.
Let's see where we at.
All right. We're getting started shortly. Just gotta make sure we post this everywhere. Copy link. Give us a moment, everybody. We've been on a little bit of sabbatical, so we got this. All right. Did you post to the other page? Josh? I don't know, everyone. All right. Getting started in 2 minutes. Once we do, you'll see the video, and then you're gonna hear us rant and rave about how much we are not fans of our general manager right now. Wait. Okay. This damn dog. All right, Josh, you see it posted on my page? All right. All right, people, we are about to get started. We already got a comment. We in bad shape, LOL. Mariota, the best free agent left, in my opinion, and Carr is the best trade option if he's available. Um, yeah, we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to all of that. So stay tuned. All right, there we go. All right.
Yeah, block it
All
for a
right,
second.
people. All right, and you put in Horseshoe Mob and Blue Warrior too?
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right. So with that being said, people, we will be right back after this message. This isn't not from our sponsors. This is just an intro video, so take it with a grain of salt.
I don't wanna any more small talk. Off that short pier, take a long walk. My style ain't free cause it ain't off top. I'm at your throat, go get a cough drop. I don't wanna hear any more small talk. Off that short pier, take a long walk. My style ain't free cause it ain't off top. I'm at your throat, go get a cough drop. It's kush. I love me too much and your brain turn to mush. Fall flat on your tush. You couldn't handle the product I push. I guess I'm just used to it, I just do it. Like Nike swoosh, none of that Reggie Bush, cause I'm top shelf, I ain't got well.
All right. And so, with that, people, we welcome you back for season 2 of the You Don't Know Jack podcast, where we're coming to you with all the Colts news, disdain, and everything else that you need from us to talk about this team. So, with that being said, I'd like to welcome back the fellas, the guys, the Jacks, the ones that without this, none of this would be possible. So, I'm going in no particular order. But you know what? Let's just go ahead. We're gonna start. You know what? We'll go in Jack order. We'll start off with Jay and Jack. Okay? The man who is just he's great. So he's a senior. And he had to have a junior. That's why he's a senior. That's usually how that goes. But either way, we have with us Josh Senior, everybody.
What's good, everybody? Josh Senior in the building, aka Fire Chris Ballard.
Okay, that's a little drastic, but you know what? We're gonna go with that just for the sake of parody. Okay. All right, and then we have with us the silent assassin, the man, the myth, the legend. He don't say much, but when he does, it's just impact.
Comes with a punch.
Austin, and that's what I'm saying. It's just like it's a multi-punch, just like all at one time. We have with us Austin Cook, everybody.
What's up? I'm Austin Cook, and shout out to Vol Nation. Going for the national championship.
You talking about the football team?
No, basketball.
I don't know about all that, but good luck with that. All right, and then and then there's me, your friendly neighborhood Chris Jackson. All right. So with that being said, fellas, how's it been? It's been a month. It's been a month. How's the last month been?
Depressing.
Pretty good.
Depressing, good. All right.
Well, sports wise, depressing. I would say that the life been great. It's been great.
Okay.
But sports wise, it's been
Awful.
depressing.
Okay. Yeah. No. Well, I mean, you're a Lakers fan.
Yeah.
Chris Ballard refused to do anything, and then like I said,
Well,
I
Duke,
think
Duke is I ain't got a shirt on, but no. Well, Duke somewhere. I ain't got a shirt, but yeah.
But they lost to UNC at home for Coach K's last game, and
but they beat them. They beat them at Chapel. Not Chapel. Yeah, they beat them at Chapel Hill by 20.
Okay,
the Vols should be a 2 seed instead of Duke. So
okay, listen. Okay, we're not getting into all of that. You heard? All right, we're not doing this. Okay, but yeah. So with that being said, welcome to season 2, episode 1. Welcome back. Ballard hates us. And I'm sure that's how I'm going to say 92% of Colts fans feel right now. But before we, get into that, let's go into the move that kind of started out this ripple effect of, emotions that we have going on right now. Wentz is gone. And I don't think it's necessarily about the fact that he's gone. I think it's more so about the fact that he's gone, but he's also just kind of not like they traded him. So he got traded. He had to be released before, or otherwise, it would have been a cap hit. But Washington was desperate for a quarterback. They lost out on Russell Wilson. They lost out on Aaron Rodgers. So Carson Wentz was apparently on their short list. And they gave up some stock for him. It was a second-round pick this year, third-round pick this year, third-round pick for next year, which is conditional. He plays 70% of snaps. That means that it turns into a second-round pick.
Well, this year is a swap. We get to move up 5 slots.
Yeah, we move 5 spots up, but then, like I said, we also get the third-round pick, and then we gave up our second, Carson Wentz, and then a 7th, I believe. But thoughts on the trade, because that was I didn't think that they were going to do it.
Yeah, I didn't think so either. I was at work, saw the notification on my phone. I was like, well, what? That's crazy. Like, I was just shocked. I didn't, yeah.
Well, the reports that I was reading, and the things, of course, the was it as Locked On Coast podcast? I don't know the exact name. Um, they kept reporting that him being cut by the 15th, or us not having a backup quarterback or backup plan won't change their minds of moving him, whether it be cut or traded for the cap. Nothing would change. Even if they had to cut him and eat the cap, it wouldn't change anything. He's gonna be gone pretty much either way.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean it was one of the. I'm gonna say this is probably the one of the times that Ursay was really really vocal about the quarterback position because you understand that we went 11-5 the year before, and the thing is you go 11-5 and you have an extra year where you have a game added on. By the
Right.
standard that we were at, we went 9-8. So I mean, the season before last, we would have either been 8-8 or 9-7. Either way, it's 2 game drop off. And I mean, there wasn't really any major loss outside of Philip Rivers, who really had the mobility of a turtle. And I mean, you lose Danico Autry, who I'm going to say he was impactful, but at the same time, it wasn't the same. Like it's and the thing is, we didn't lose any offensive pieces. Jonathan Taylor actually got better. I mean, it's just like we saw what he ran for, but for Wentz had a much better year than he had in his last year in Philly. But even with that being the case, his mechanics were off. He
Right.
wasn't doing everything that he needed to do. Yeah, he had some great passes. He was a great moment quarterback. And what I mean by that is just like he had a lot of great moments, but the thing is, it's just like there was a lot of games where when he was bad, he was bad. But
See,
for some,
I think his issue always been um, his issue always been outside of last year. His career always been protect the ball, and and for the most part he did that for how many games where he wasn't turning the ball over up until I forgot what game it was. I think maybe Tennessee game, the second Tennessee game, um, where he just was throwing it everywhere. He was giving it away,
yeah,
and we saw different. He didn't shoot back from that. I mean, those guys. You say he has a moment. He has a moments game where he did play good. But the games like was it the Ravens game where he made the impact in that game. It was him that made those throws, and it was
yeah.
games like okay, he showed signs, he showed potential. But then games like the Tennessee games like the Rams game, games like the Seattle game, games like the Raiders game like the Jazz game. If Taylor didn't have a good game, we would lose.
hmm and like, and there's one thing, like there was a comment, um, Brandon Spearman, I'm saying, he said, "I'm shocked any team wanted him after the Jags game and took on his 28 million old." Now the thing is, this year has probably been a way more active quarterback market than we've
Right.
seen previously. But then at the same time, like you mentioned the Ravens game, and there were a lot of plays where we gashed them early, and
Hmm.
we were able to do like the big knock that I had on Carson Wentz is that he took away a significant chunk of the field with his vision and his passing.
Right.
We saw when Philip Rivers utilized everybody. He was throwing checkdowns in the backfield. He's throwing to the flats. He's throwing all those plays. That's why Naeem Hines was as effective as he was, that the year before last. Whereas with Carson
Correct.
Wentz, unless it was actually like a screen pass that was a design play, he wasn't throwing it. He's just
Well,
looking downfield.
it's
He's
but
trying to
deep.
make
Yeah.
something happen downfield. And, like I said, it didn't necessarily mean that he was automatically going to be throwing picks because he only threw 7 on the year. But the
Correct.
problem is that, he's taking unnecessary sacks. That means that he's throwing a bunch of nonsense. That means that it's just like he has some of those fumbles that he had. And, like I said, I was up and down on Carson throughout the year only because of the fact that even though we had points where we were winning, it was still it still looked like there were times where he could have actually, thrown us or potentially played us out of the game. Listen, I told you
Huh?
not to buy that jersey. I told you not
Uh,
to buy that jersey.
I got it.
I told you not to buy that jersey. You decided that you were going to do that. That's your fault. That's your fault. I don't feel bad for anybody hard headed. I don't feel bad for hard headed
I
people.
have I have a Wentz jersey for sale, $0.
Listen, you might as
$0.
well just cut that thing up and use it as a furniture rag, because ain't nobody gonna pay. You're gonna have to pay somebody to take that. You could go donate that right now, and they will look at you, look at the jersey, look at you, and say, "How about you take this back, big dog?" But so with that being said, moving on from Wentz, because we knew that we were going to move on from Wentz regardless. We now see, free agency started.
hmm
Doesn't really seem like there was a plan. We knew that Deshaun Watson was going to eventually going to end up being traded. If for some reason, his issues or his legal issues subsided, which they did. But
Right.
the problem is now that Aaron Rodgers re-signed, Russell Wilson went to Denver, and I mean, for what they gave up for him, made perfect sense. A lot of
Yeah,
sense.
it's Super Bowl or bust for them. I can tell you
Oh
that.
yeah. Oh, absolutely. But now what we're dealing with is the fact that what other quarterbacks are out there when you know for a fact that you absolutely need a quarterback? Because, like I said, drafting a quarterback isn't guaranteed. I mean, we're the 42nd pick. Unless you're trading trade assets in that same trade and then or in that same draft, and then potentially adding picks from a future draft, you're
Right.
basically going to be hoping that you have a quarterback who will be able to come in from day one, learn the system, and do what they need to do. And you're hoping that you're going to have that with the 10th pick in the second round.
Right.
And I mean, with that being said, what is Ballard's plan? What do we believe that his plan is right now? Because I mean, we know that he's somebody who's like he's a thinker. He's constantly plotting every single move. But what do you think is his plan with the inactivity in free agency, other than of course signing our guys or re-signing our guys, which is great, but we know that there's glaring holes. Like what is he at, like? What is his plan? Like what is it? And I gotta ask you, Austin. I gotta ask you this, Austin, because I know that you've also had your thoughts on Ballard and the moves that he made. Like what is he doing?
Well, I mean, obviously, we started out just getting our guys back, and I think that's always his number one priority is the people that we already had on the roster.
Okay, yeah.
But like you and everybody else, we see we need help at other positions. Maybe he's saving some of those for the draft, but I don't know how much you can do with the picks that we have. But I mean, there's still names on the board, and I don't know who we're in contact with or anything, but like I wouldn't give up complete hope that we're not going to get anybody because like there's still solid names out there for the positions that we need.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
got Tyron Armstead, Chandler Jones, Von Miller, Javion Clowney, Stephon Gilmore, Adam Robinson, um, Tyron Matthew, Casey Hayward Jr. I mean, that's a list.
I mean,
It
yeah,
goes on.
there is, like, the thing is there's a list, but it's not whether or not there's guys who are available, it's whether or not Chris Ballard is going to subscribe to who it is that for a fact that we need.
Right.
Like I'm going to just go ahead and put this out there. Yes, we signed Mo Ali Cox. Jack Doyle retired. So the thing is, Mo Ali, Kyle Granson is who we have at tight end.
Right.
We re-signed Zaire Franklin. I think we re-signed Taekwon Lewis to a 1-year deal. We also re-signed, I think, what was it? I think who
I
else
can't
did
say his name.
Prior.
we re-signed? Yeah, we re-signed Pryor, who was
Somebody
a
from the
stopgap.
Raiders.
That was a depth guy. And then we signed Brandon Fasison, who's, like I said, another depth guy. I mean, I think he was like 5th on their depth chart last year. But
Yeah, he's a long guy. I hear that's
yeah,
what Bradley likes.
he's 6'2". He's a 6'2" corner. Guy's like a little bit rangy, but you know, the issue that I have is that you see where we were. You see
Right.
what issues we had. We signed a bunch of depth guys last year in free agency.
And it
We
didn't
signed
work
depth
out.
guys on the D line. We signed Isaac Rochelle. We had guys. We rotated so many guys in and out that wasn't just based on injury, but we rotated guys. It's just like Banagoo. We also had what's his name? I think we had Lewis Banagoo, Teray. I mean the list is endless of the
Picked up
guys that
Taylor
we had.
Starworth.
Tyler Starworth, yep. Taylor Starworth. Of course, we already had Grover. We already had DeForest Buckner. We drafted Kwity Paye and Deo Adenibo. So, I mean,
Right.
that right there, it's just like we had 10, 12 guys on just the D-line alone. And yet you're saying that pass rush still needs to be addressed when you have somebody like Chandler Jones out there. And, I mean, right now we have Darius Leonard and DeForest Buckner. Now the thing is, Darius Leonard, he can be a little bit okay, whatever. You know, he's gonna come out and just say whatever because he's just like that. He's the maniac. He's maniacal. But yeah,
So,
like DeForest Buckner is out here talking about, yo, like this would be a crazy combination. But the thing is, it almost feels like Chris Ballard is almost gonna say, yeah, I don't think we should do that. Like a D line like that can wreak havoc. And I never thought I'd see the day where I would compliment them. But the thing is, look what the Titans did with turning their D line around in 1 year. I mean, they had guys who were constantly getting pressure, and I think that was probably what made their lives a lot easier when it came down to how they were able to pass rush as effectively as they were. Their
so
secondary wasn't good, but
what would be the issue? Because Chandler came out and said it's not about the money. So why wouldn't Ballard offer him the same type of deal that he would have offered Audrey last year? But Audrey ended up leaving for a couple more dollars in Tennessee. So why he can't offer Chandler the same deal? It's not a an overpay type deal because he earned his check. So why he won't offer that 3-year 24 to Chandler
well, I mean,
or even
if
2-year deal?
if we're being completely honest, the only person that he's ever traded for that was a proven commodity was DeForest Buckner. I mean, if we're being completely real when it comes down to anything, like we've had the ability to go out and get guys, and Ballard has just chosen not to. And the thing, and I understand, like we can't get to a point where we say, "Oh no, nope, he's missed on all free agency. He's missed on everything." It's. But the thing is, at the same time, if we're frequently almost getting there and not there, but the approach is the same in every single offseason, then there's a problem.
Well, he's the problem. I mean,
I,
there's no excuse. We have no legitimate excuse like the Rams do. The Rams have to build through the draft. We don't. Well, they can't because they pretty much
no,
trade them
they
anyway.
have to build through free agency because they give away their draft
Yeah,
picks. Like,
correct. My bad. Yeah, they have to build through free agency because they can't build through the draft because they trade them all for said players. We have all our draft picks and we have all our cap picks. I mean, all our cap space because we're not spending the money on free agents anyway. If it is, it's like a 1-year prove deal. Everybody get 1-year prove deal. Even Tyquan Lewis is a 1-year 3. He got. I mean, that's a low ball deal anyway. But hey, he signed it.
mhm.
And so that means next year we're gonna have more cap again because
Yeah,
he's not the guys that we're signing. They're not getting big contract. I'm not saying overpay guys. I'm just saying the fact that next year we're gonna have more picks. We're gonna have more cap. We're gonna be in the same situation, saying we got glaring holes to fill. And here comes draft. They say, well, we're gonna draft the guy best available. Okay, who's the best available? at 42. We all say receiver. Okay, we see that all the receivers is going off the board. Right now as we speak.
Yeah.
With Adam Robinson available, we got who Jarvis Landry available. You see Truck go to the Lions. I mean, I'm not saying overpay these guys. These guys are getting good deals. I mean, Truck got with 1 year 10. That's a good deal.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, Funches got 1 year 9.
Yeah.
He
And
played one game.
Funches was a shot, what I'll call it, because I mean, I don't think he did enough to necessarily warrant the attention that he was getting. And I mean, he
Correct.
proved it. Yeah. So I mean, I've never been critical of Chris Ballard. I've never really been critical of him because I'm just like, all right, he knows what he's doing. We frequently have cap. We know what we need to do, but the thing is, we have to be realistic about the fact that this is a man who's not necessarily going after some of the guys who like I said, are proven commodities. No matter how you feel about, and somebody mentioned it, it's just like somebody said a wash list of players, but I mean, do the Rams win the Super Bowl last year if they don't have a Von Miller?
I would say that they'll have a Stafford. I mean, because they didn't. I mean, they
Yeah.
won with him.
Yeah, and the
But yeah,
thing,
I get your point though. Yeah.
yeah, we like you see exactly how these teams go, and like I said, it's just like it's not like you're overpaying for Christian Kirk. Christian Kirk is an 18 mil a year wide receiver. But the thing is, when you have somebody like Chandler Jones, who's been one of the top defensive players in the league for years, and mind you, not over the last couple of years, for years, like if you're going after a proven commodity, like I get it. It's just like Buckner was younger; they were willing to trade him away. They had his contract coming up. I get it. They traded for him, but we're also
Right.
talking about the fact that if you know for a fact that you have guys on your roster, you have a roster now where you know that you're going to be signing Quentin Nelson next year. Okay, great. You want to hold off some money? Fine. Let's just say Quentin asks for $20 million a year. You still have $65 million left. So if you have $65 million left, I mean, I'm no mathematician, but 65 minus 20 is 45, even if you're going at those numbers. And that's not even a guarantee that Quentin Nelson is even going to ask for that much.
It's projected, right?
It's projected, but we're talking about the fact that that there's guys out there, and that it's proven. And we already failed with the whole Carson Wentz experiment because, I mean, yeah, he returned to playing, well enough, but it wasn't what you would expect from somebody who's making $28 million a year. It wasn't. It just there was nothing good about what was going on with that whole entire situation, and then now you have to pay. So you know what? Okay, take it on the chin and keep it moving. But at the same time, now here we are back to this again, and it
I
doesn't
think
make.
I think I think his plan. I think his plan is he is letting, and we all read it and we all talked about it over the last couple of days. He is letting free agency, other teams set the market for players that he wants. He wants these players because they're interested in all these players. But he letting those guys go to this team and then wait till this guy gets his offer. It's like, well, hey, he's out of our price range. And then to make us feel good, they semi leak it and say, hey, Colts are interested in Chandler. Colts are interested in Allen Robinson. Colts are interested in Tyron Armstead. Colts are interested in Tyron Matthew. I mean, the list go on and on and on. But then when it's time to put the pen to the paper, oh well, we're not going to overpay for this guy here. Well,
Yeah.
Oh, so it means you don't want to pay for this guy here, but you'll pick up a guy that came from the Raiders. It was the fifth on the depth chart for Raiders, and expect him to play like a Xavier Rose did last year. So what he's doing is he's paying for guys that wants to make an impact, hungry to make an impact, and hoping that the guys play above their contract.
Yeah.
That's what he's doing. That's essentially what he's doing.
And it's 1 year deals.
And when you did, yeah.
Zaire Franklin was 3 years, I think 3 years, $12 million. Great deal. And the thing is, it's just like he's one of the special teams captains. He's a guy who, made an impact. Fantastic. You bring Mo Alley back, 3 years, 18 million. He's now the starter. So that means that now he's not splitting with anybody. He's the sole guy, which means that we'll actually be able to see how he goes depending on, who our quarterback is.
Correct.
But the thing that's really bugging me out is the fact that you're chipping away at a problem that is turning into an iceberg.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen this time and time again every single year. And yeah, you want to build through the draft, but I think Chris Ballard, when it comes to the draft, he's way too draft reliant as opposed to going and just getting guys in free agency. Like I said, it's just like you can look at how some of these teams have gone, in past years and what they've done. I mean, and I don't mean to beat a dead horse, but you know when you're talking about the Rams went and picked up guys. I mean, they really lucked out because they had guys who they picked up along the way. And then some of their rookies, they went ahead and they played in certain spots, but they didn't necessarily rely solely on that draft that way.
Correct.
Look at the year before last. You look at how Tampa Bay, once Tom Brady goes to the Buccaneers, Tom Brady goes to the Buccaneers, they already have a team established. Now, this is a team that they drafted throughout the years, but there were also guys who wanted to come over. I mean, you picked up a Leonard Fournette who was being used wrong on Jacksonville because they're Jacksonville.
Correct.
Whatever. You pick up AB who, now we know it's just like hey, let's see what's going to happen. And I mean, it worked out in that case. You pick up a Gronkowski. Are those kind of guys available now? You don't know. You don't know if you. I mean, I'm not saying that anybody is where AB was years ago, but the thing is, the AB that was there even last year. I mean, if you don't think that you're going to be able to get that kind of production out of somebody like an Allen Robinson, potentially out of a DJ Chark who signed with the Lions for 1 year, 10 million,
Which is sad.
what's the point? Like, what is the point? You don't have to give him a Christian Kirk contract, but 1 year, 10 million to go to the Lions. He went to football purgatory to get a check.
I mean, look at Zay Jones.
Zay Jones, like this is what his this is his third or fourth stop.
Man, I mean, this is
Yeah, it wouldn't take a lot for Ballard to just spend a little bit. Just a little bit is all that people want.
he could. I mean, like 10 million. Like I said, 10 million is not a lot for a receiver. That's probably that's pretty much that pretty much is a minimum right now. There's where we at now. 10 million is a minimum for a decent receiver. I mean, Chark had what two 1,000 yard season, I think, or 2 or 3, I think.
He went to the year. I think he's had. So he had. I think he had the injury issue last year, and I think the year before that he went to the Pro Bowl. He went to the Pro Bowl with Gardner Minshew.
So that should tell you right there. So it means you need the help no matter what quarterback we have. Mariota, whether it can't be Mitchell no more. Whether if Jimmy, you need even Carr. You need other weapons. You cannot rely on Pittman as we did last year to be the same guy to put up the same numbers. He barely grazed 1,000 last year. Get another receiver to take the attention. I mean, I know T.Y. said, "Hey, I'm afraid to come get me." No. We ain't gonna come get you. Go ahead and I don't care. He can go to the Tampa Bay. If he went to Super Bowl Tampa Bay, I'd be excited for him. But it's time to see new faces. Reggie Wayne is in now. I know we haven't talked about that yet, but I mean, we need new faces. I mean, I wouldn't mind getting Jarvis Landry. I mean, he's a fast
Yeah,
receiver.
Landry is somebody who was on my short list because I mean he's a great receiver. He's a
I don't
great
want. I don't
receiver.
want no Marquez. Well, I can't say his name. I don't want to. I don't. What's his name? Marquez. What? Scallon.
Valdez Scantling.
I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that, man. That means we're just getting cheaper and cheaper and cheaper.
So the thing about me with Valdez Scantling is the fact that Aaron Rodgers' offense is a pass happy offense, and I mean he's been in that offense for 3 years now. I think 3-4 years, and you mean to tell me that you allowed guys to kind of like usurp you. Like Alan Lazard came out, Robert Tunyon came out. Like these
Correct.
guys, like he's had guys who have jumped him in terms of those roster spots. And if you can't be if you can't be a number two in an Aaron Rodgers led offense because he just passes to anybody.
Correct.
If you can run the route and get open, then he's going to pass to you. And if you can't break away and establish yourself in that type of offense, then you're not the answer. But I'm hearing from the fan base, it's just like, oh yeah, he would just be great. Based on what? I don't think
Yeah.
we were going to get that with Christian Kirk. I mean,
First of
listen,
all, we seen it firsthand when he fumbled in Indy. That was him that fumbled.
yes, yes,
that was him that fumbled. It was. I mean, yeah, drew them back and punched it out, but that was him that fumbled the game and lost the game for them. That was him.
and that's why I have the issues that I have when it comes down to, how our fan base reacts to certain people, because we hear certain guys on certain teams just be like, oh yeah, he's coming from Green Bay, he's a wide receiver, fantastic, let's get him. No, no, this guy, like, if you're going to bring in somebody, and you know what the craziest part about it is that I'd go as far as to say, okay, you want to bring in somebody that's going to compete. If you want somebody who's going to compete, go to Antonio Brown.
Yeah.
Is he a head case? Absolutely. But the thing is, that the ability's there, and that he can absolutely do that. He was the third option on that Tampa Bay team, and I don't think he ever clearly established himself as somebody who was just a slot guy. Like, he was absolutely out there just doing AB things.
Right. Yeah,
But
he was.
I don't want to get too far into it, and then we start becoming rants, because I'm good for those. But you know what? Let's go
Right.
over some comments, and then Austin, my next question is going to be for you because I need to hear this from you. Somebody said a washed list. Somebody said he relies heavily on scouting and depth. That was Clyde. Um, Rare that it will be sexy. It pains me to watch this each March. He said Al-Qadim Muhammad when we were talking about D-line. CB is missing on defensive ends in the draft. I don't know if I necessarily agree on that because, I mean, I don't think he missed on Kwity Paye. I think Kwity Paye got hurt last year, and then he's getting back in, and then we were really just inconsistent on defense.
No, he didn't miss on him. He
And then he
didn't miss.
said jury's still out on Kwity and Dale, though. And he said, I
No.
don't think wide receivers will show without knowing who the QB is going to be. Which, okay, all right. So then that leads us into
BS.
the next question. Does Ballard's penny pinching keep us from competing?
Yes.
I mean,
it's 6 years. We're going on 6 years right now. You tell me what have we accomplished with the penny pitching and going on year 6 now? What have we accomplished with him, his philosophy?
yeah, we have good teams, but we just can't seem to accomplish anything. Because, like, if you don't win the Super Bowl, what did you accomplish? 7 Pro Bowlers? Like, sure, that's great for them, but they also want a ring. Like,
Yeah.
so
Have you guys ever thought about it? Every offseason, every March, we have the same conversations. Well,
Yeah.
we lost because we didn't have a pass rush. We lost because our secondary. We lost because we didn't have any weapons. We lost because we didn't have a competent quarterback. We lost because our head coach is not calling the right plays. We lost because our defense regressed. We have the same type of conversation every offseason, but we have a GM that has all the resources. Resources. The man is a great. He can be, when he have his head on his shoulder. He can be a great GM. He make good deals outside of the Wentz deal. Because the Buckner deal was great. He made a good deal. I mean, even the deal to get Wentz off the books is a good deal with getting a second and a second swap up, swap from second they already have. It's just that now when we get to saying, okay, well, free agency, okay, day 1, day 2, he kind of relaxed. He signed his guys on his own team. and then you see the other guys come off the board, and then we come up with say, okay, well, once you sign a receiver or sign a DB or sign a linebacker or sign a pass rusher or offensive lineman, we're not gonna know who he is. We got lucky with Chris Reed. We got lucky with Matt Prater. Matt Prater was on the line with with Carson Wentz, but they were terrible. But he came in and it came in and you would say he had a good career.
Yeah. So and I know we were talking about it earlier, but things are starting to look a little weird. So Baker Mayfield was a name that came up earlier, and Baker Mayfield just wrote a letter to Cleveland fans. They said it
Yeah, I
wasn't a
saw
letter
that.
with any type of ominous meaning, but he thanked the city of Cleveland for embracing him. So I'm not sure
Uh-oh.
what's going on.
He said that his
Question.
top team is the Colts.
Would you guys be okay with Baker? I thought about this for the last 3 hours.
Yeah.
Would you guys be okay with their choices over Jimmy, over Mariota, and who else? And Winston. Would you be okay with that, having Baker Mayfield? Because he needs a new deal.
I think I would be okay with Baker Mayfield. It's hard. He's been hurt.
Yeah. Chris, come on,
I
Chris.
think I definitely like him over Jimmy, and I think I like him over Winston. I think the only person that I would take over him right now is Derek Carr, and I don't think that's a realistic option.
Yeah, right now we damn that begging the Raiders to trade.
All right.
Begging.
So before I give my answer, Chris Ballard has decided, and mind you, like I'm also going to be very upfront with how we've done this because I think we've also seen that, we've had different regimes. We had the
Uh-huh.
Peyton regime where, we had all the guys, they were all good, but the thing is a lot of them aged out, and then that's when you end up moving into the Andrew Luck era.
No.
You had, what's his face? Idiot McStupid face. Ryan Grigson. Yes, idiot McStupid face. Yes. You had him where he wasn't afraid to spend. Only difference is you had to be 1 year away from eligibility with AARP in order for him to sign you. And I mean, we saw that because he signed. I think it was just like
Trent Cole.
Trent Cole. He signed Kendall
Andre
Langford.
Johnson.
Andre Johnson and Frank Gore came together on the same AARP card.
Well, Frank Gore
But
was the only one
Frank
that
Gore
panned out.
gave us some good.
Well, yeah, but
Good
that's
years.
just because Frank Gore was Frank. Well, Frank Gore is a tank. Like he still looks like he's in football shape now. But if we're
Except he can't box.
that's neither here nor there. I'm not. Listen, Frank is a good egg. Okay, all right. But no, but like Ryan Grigson, he had terrible contracts and he signed terrible guys. I mean, one of the worst signings that he ever had was Gosder Shirless, who was by no means ever a good O lineman, and then he signed him to what was it, 4 years, $60 million or something like that. Like it was
You think so?
It was one of the worst contracts ever. It was one of the worst
I'm
contracts ever.
still thinking about. Well, you said contract. You saying like far as a pickup, like far as a
pickup
roster
contract. It was bad. Everything about it was
Trent Richardson. Trent Richardson
was a trade. Yes, you trade away a first round pick for him, but the thing is, it only pans out if the trade panned out. In that trade, they got Justin, whatever his name was, and they got Johnny Manziel. So honestly, everybody lost in that trade.
You're right about that. Gotcha. Okay,
Who was
LaRon
the
Landry.
lineman you said?
Gosder Shirless.
62, I think. Number 62 or whatever it is. Yeah. I know you're talking about from Detroit.
Yeah. But the thing is, it was a terrible trade because they didn't do anything as far as O-line. They only went and got old guys, and then they drafted terribly. I mean,
Yeah.
if we're talking completely real, we drafted what's his face? We drafted Philip Dorsett over Landon Collins.
I think his best pick I think he drafted Anthony Costanzo, and I think maybe Ron Kelly was a Ballard pick, or was it a Grigson?
I think it was one of Kelly. I think Kelly was like the last draft that Grigson had.
So he drafted Costanzo and Kelly, and before he got
Yeah, because I
fired.
know. Well, Costanzo was drafted. I think he was drafted the year before Luck. So I think that was maybe like the last. I think that was the last Polian one. Because I
I
know
think he
he
played
was
like 10, 11
drafted.
years.
Yeah, because Anthony Costanzo was he was. I know Anthony Costanzo was drafted. He was drafted prior to that because the only other option that they would have had was him being drafted during that 2012 season. And I know he was definitely not drafted in that 2012 season because, it was Luck. It was what's the name? Kobe Fleener, Dwayne Harris, everybody that we had there. So
Yeah,
I
you're
know
right.
that
You're right. You're
definitely
right.
wasn't the case. So yeah, let me see. When was he drafted? Yeah, so the thing is he was drafted in 2011. So he was drafted the year before Luck was.
He drafted when Curtis Painter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got
Yeah. So I mean, so the thing is for me now, it's like I get why you don't go crazy, especially not in the first day or two of free agency. But the thing is, when you see the trades that are going down, like Amari Cooper got traded for a fifth round pick. You can't tell me that Amari Cooper isn't gonna automatically come in and make an impact on this offense. Whether you have to resign him or not, it doesn't matter. You
you. And he
have the
don't care. He don't care if he's a 1 or 2.
Exactly, he doesn't. But the thing is, in this one, you pair him and Michael Pittman together with the fact that you have Jonathan Taylor. That's going to be a trio of weapons that is going to be able to effectively do everything that they need to do. Like the thing
Correct.
is, just letting it, like Amari went for a fifth round pick, Shaq Mason went for a fifth round pick. If you trade a fifth round pick and let's just say a fourth round pick for this year, you can still possibly get a trade asset back in that same trade, and then you're good. You don't have to worry about anything else. Mason is literally already traded. The Patriots took a hit. Now the thing is, I don't know if that might have been something that was done intentionally, but at the same time, it's like we don't have a guard. But the thing is, you're relying on Danny Pinter, Chris Reed, Pryor, who yeah, you like them, but they're depth guys. These are depth guys. Why? What? Like, why are we solely saying that these are depth guys? Like, and we know for a fact that we don't need depth. We need impact. I hate the fact that that's being thrown around. Just be like, oh yeah, we got depth guys. We spent all last year signing depth guys, and then
Well,
we're sitting there talking about no, we need pass rush this year. Well, then why are we signing depth when we need impact?
correct.
Like go ahead, put the feelers out. See exactly what you can get from Von Miller. See what you can get from Chandler Jones.
Stephon Gilmore.
Gilmore. Hell, I mean even Russell Douglas. Russell Douglas had a
Yeah, I
great
remember
year
that. Yeah,
last year.
Casey
Like
Hayward.
Casey
Casey Hayward.
and Casey Hayward has been a consummate professional who
First of
played under
all,
Gus Bradley.
his contract wasn't even big with the Raiders. I'm talking about Hayward. He got like a
Yeah.
1 year, 3, 4 million. I forgot. I can't. It wasn't a big. It wasn't a large contract for 1 year deal because nobody wanted him.
But did Chris answer your question, Josh? Did he say whether he
He
wanted?
did not. He ignored it.
Yeah, that's
I'm,
what I
I'm
thought.
sorry. I'm sorry, Josh. Go ahead.
No, about
ahead.
Baker Mayfield. Would you take him over like Jimmy or something?
Oh,
He
absolutely
should.
over Jimmy. I'm taking him over Jimmy all day, every day.
Well, over
The
whoever's
thing,
available right now.
yeah, over. I mean, because Jim's not available and Derek's not available, so we can't use
So
those.
if Jimmy and Derek aren't available,
Mariota,
Baker possibly.
Winston,
Jameis, honestly, I think you're getting the same thing.
and Baker
Honestly, I
and
think
Jameis.
between Baker and Jameis, yeah, I think you're getting a very similar QB. I think you're just getting it in very different ways. Like Baker Mayfield has times where he just absolutely like his field vision goes from him being able to see everywhere to him literally only looking down guys and not seeing the obvious. Like I think the one graphic that they had from not last year but the year before last with the moves that they made, like they get all the way down to the red zone. They're on the 5 yard line. He's looking for a receiver, and then the floodgates open where his O linemen have literally opened the biggest gap possible for him to run in a touchdown. And I think he either ended up taking a sack on the play or he ended up throwing the ball away. And the thing is, for me, it's just like I don't know whether it's a Baker thing or whether it's a Cleveland thing that makes people play like this. But the thing is, to me, it's like if you're going to bring Baker in, what are you giving up for him?
It shouldn't require much because he's I think his deal is up.
Yeah,
They,
and I mean,
they didn't pick up his 5th-year option, so it shouldn't be much.
Apparently, he's not back anyways. He might already be traded. He's coming to Indy right now.
I don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. And then somebody else said, I don't think nobody Grigson drafted still plays in the league but T.Y. Hilton. Well, I mean, yeah, because I mean, if we're going according to 2012, then most of those guys aren't there. And then if we're going according to 2015, 2016, most of those guys are in their 40s. They're old. They were old when we got them. Like you brought somebody in, gave him a multi-year deal at 33. I'm just like, is he really that good to give him a multi-year deal and he's 33 years old when it's obvious that he's on decline? He drafted Bjorn Werner. Where the hell is he?
Where's Quincy Wilson?
Oh God, Jesus! No, don't do that. There's a certain amount of PTSD that goes along with that one right there. So you know what?
Where's Deshaun Davises?
Both of them.
Yeah, both of them. Where they at?
Both of them. I mean, heck, Jacob Eason.
Deion Kane.
Yeah. So you know what? You're not going to take me back down on this terrible, thing is thing like
Anthony
that.
Walker. Anthony Walker.
So here, let me also look at this. So as Baker is higher reward than those other guys, they aren't more than bridge QBs. Baker isn't in his prime yet and has potential to be a franchise QB if it works. Just a thought. And I'm sorry, guys. I don't mean to be as vocal as I am, but so like the thing that bothers me about Baker is that Baker has extremely high highs and he has extremely low lows. Baker will go and bring them back from like being down 14 points, throw 4 touchdowns, and then he's dancing in the locker room. And then he'll have another game where he just looks like he has just gone, bat poop crazy, and he throws 3 interceptions. I don't get it. And the thing is, for me, it's just like it's highly erratic, but at the same time, it's really hard to gauge. It's really hard to gauge what Baker you're going to get. It's like yeah. And then somebody just said, "I'm still mad we picked Bjorn Werner over D Hop." You and I both. Like you and I both. He was a project. They said he was a project. They said he was an absolute project. Nobody ever heard of. And yet DeAndre Hopkins ended up going to a division. You know what? Enough's enough. I don't know what Josh is doing, but we're getting to the last question. I'm getting the hell out of here before I broke a blood vessel. I got a gray hair. I got a gray hair, guys. I got my first gray. I got my first gray. And guess what? It's thanks to nothing more than Chris Ballard. And then here comes Matt.
15.
Yeah, man.
Yes, Matt. Bye, Matt. All right. That's fine. So then with that being said, now last question, and then we're about to here, people. Who will be our QB?
With the new resource or with the new room and mirror, might be Baker, man.
I'm good. I'm also gonna say Baker. I want to say I agree with what that comment said. I feel like he might be the only quarterback available right now, since he has become available, that could be a long-term fix. Could be, we never know. But I also think that Frank Reich, he can get the best out of quarterbacks, and I feel like that could really help Baker, and our offensive line could really help Baker. It
Well,
also comes down to the weapons we get.
we do need a PSA, man, because I am sick and tired of hearing or seeing our fan base mention the word. I'm not even gonna say the word, but I'm gonna spell it out. TANK.
I know. I hate that idea.
I hate it. It's not.
We're
That's
not
worse.
tanking. Anybody that's listening, the Colts are not tanking. We have too good of a roster to tank.
We have too good of a roster, and there's not too many good quarterback prospects now. The difference of tanking for somebody like Andrew Luck coming out of the draft was that you knew exactly what you were getting, and you knew that you were getting a guy who was going to be able to come in from day one. Who in college football right now at quarterback can you look at and say, we are going to go 2-15 and we're going to go get that guy next year? Who?
None of them. I was.
There's nobody.
They keep saying, "Well, Bryce Young is like, no, he's not ready. He's not ready. No."
And I mean, what are we gonna do? Tank the next 6 years for Arch Manning? Are we the Jaguars? No, absolutely not. Like, no.
It's. I mean, I know every time it's been typed, I know Austin comes in like, we're not tanking.
Oh, listen,
People just need to chill. Just
Right.
chill. Like, we got the roster and we got the cap. It just takes a little bit of working on Chris Ballard. Literally just a little work.
Somebody
I
said
do
Jimmy
have-
G and the rookie, and then somebody said just guessing. I think it's the
I
same
do.
person.
I do have a theory. I mentioned it before. Do you guys think that they're keeping Ed Dobbs for a simple reason that Ballard could be on his last leg, man?
If we don't do anything this year, I feel like it has to be Ballard's last year. And maybe Frank's last year.
I mean,
I think Dogs would be a good replacement.
I mean, the problem that you have is that for all the bad that Ballard has done, he still only had one losing season.
Yeah.
So the thing is, the thing is, it's kind of like a prisoner of the moment mentality versus how we're supposed to view this. Under Ballard, and I think with the exception of, I think it was, I want to say the year that Andrew Luck was hurt. I believe that was Ballard's first year, the first year when Andrew Luck was hurt, because I think Frank Reich came on the very next year. I don't
You're
think
saying 2017 was his first year. Yeah.
Yeah, so the thing is, it went 4-12, but the thing is, Andrew Luck was out. You know, you had, I think they start off the first game with Scott Tolzien, and then Jacoby Brissett was the quarterback for the rest of the year. I think that was the 4-12 year, and then after that, you get what, 10-6, 7-9, what, 11-5, and then 9-8. So the thing is, he by no stretch of the imagination has been unsuccessful in putting together a team that can compete, because we haven't been under 500 with the exception of once when we actually have a quarterback in place. And even then you can say, okay, well, Jacoby Brissett got hurt midway through the year, so there's no way to possibly go ahead and prepare for that. But I mean, I'm not going to say they're going to call for Ballard's job necessarily, but the thing is, if we end up being in a position where we have a winning season, like a 10-7, let's just say we make the playoffs, or, let's just say we go 9-8 again and we make it. I don't think it's necessarily going to be an indictment, because Frank Reich has admitted that he was the one that vouched for this whole Carson Wentz thing. So, I mean, you kind of do have a scapegoat with that. But at the same time, the quarterback position, the quarterback position has been our Achilles heel for the last few years, and that's just because we had a franchise QB that walked away literally in the middle of his career, walked away in his prime.
Correct.
So, I mean, call it what you will. Who do I think will be our QB? I mean, who don't I think? If I'm going to throw out names, damn it. It's between Baker, Mariota, or Jameis. Those three.
Okay.
And with that being said, people, we are all done because I'm not gonna sadden myself anymore. Okay. Hopefully by this time next week, and wait, hold on, got one more comment. I don't like how the staff thought they could just throw Wentz in there, expecting him to do any better than he did without upgrading wide receiver or a tight end and downgrading our D line. Or how about everybody thinking that they were gonna fix a 28, 29-year-old quarterback and get him out of his bad habits that he'd established for the last 5 years prior to coming to Indy. We knew what we were getting with Wentz. We knew that he was another guy who was big on potential, but he was terrible on mechanics.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with you. I have to agree.
So I mean, it is what it is. But you know what, people? We're out of here. We're going to be back next week at 9:00 p.m. Eastern time. I promise. Had to get some food. They took a little bit longer. That's all me, people, okay? I'm not above accountability. What I look like. All right?
Well, I had a hand in that too because I did a store run, so you're not the only
You
one.
have a store on every Tuesday. I have a feeling that you literally only go to the store on Tuesdays.
It sounds like I can't deny that. I can't. It is my off day, so yeah, I could have went earlier today, but it's like, hey, my son had soccer practice, so I was like, you know what, I go to the store before I get home.
True. All right. Well, listen. In the meantime, guys, how can the people find you on social media, via Twitter, or wherever else? Let the people know. Starting with you, Austin.
Twitter is at CookieAustin2.
Damn it. New season still can't get past that. All right. Josh, how about yourself?
I'm going to add another one in there, but with IG and Instagram, I am Josh Singer. But add your boy on TikTok. I post some really goofy stuff on there, man. So add me on there as well. I am Josh Singer on TikTok. You never know where I might post.
Okay. And you can find me at CJ Colts fan. You'll see us on there, but then you'll also see us on at YDKJAC podcast. So make sure that you go on there, add us, add all our pages, add our baseball page. The lockout's over, so we're looking pretty good now. All right,
Yes.
and then basketball playoffs are right around the corner, so you're going to be seeing a lot from us. So the thing is,
Just
come
gonna
on,
be the
go ahead.
Kings.
Yeah, let us willfully annoy you. I promise. It'll be amazing. It'll be great. But yeah, hopefully this time next week we'll have signed to Ron Armstead, Stephen Gilmore, Allen Robinson, Chandler Jones, and we will
All of
have
them.
a quarterback. So all of them, ALLUM, all of them. But all right, people, listen. Have a great night. Please make sure that you also tune into the AFC South Fan Battle podcast, broadcasting on Mondays, I believe. Make sure that you tune into the Texans Fan Battle podcast, broadcasting on Wednesdays, I believe. And yeah, just stay tuned. I'm going to have more, but thank you, people. We will see you next week.